Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nadia. So today I'm basically going to talk about how to create long-lasting habits. If my voice sounds a bit weird, it's because I'm a bit sick. I've had a cold for the past week and yeah, I'm really sorry if that bothers you, but I still want to continue doing my videos, so I'm just gonna film it now that I feel a bit better, but my voice sounds a bit weird. I'm really sorry. So basically this video was inspired by a book that I read a few months ago. It's actually quite a well-known book. I don't know if you know it, but it's called Atomic Habits. And many of you might have already read it, but I just wanted to point out some of the key features that I learned from it and some actionable takeaways that I got and just want to pass on to you. Not everything is exactly from there, but most of the things are, because I think it really helped me a lot to build my own habits and just build onto these tricks of the book. So if you want to read it, that's completely fine. I loved it a lot. It was an amazing book, but here are just a few things that you can learn from it if you don't want to read the whole book and just want to have a few actionable takeaways on how to build new and long-lasting habits. So basically the first thing that I would suggest doing is actually to not just implement a habit, but to kind of have a whole identity change. So basically your habit isn't, well, I go to the gym and I work out every day, but that in your mind it changes and you're like, I'm a very active person, I am this person, that's my identity, and you change it around in your head, because if you believe that you're actually an active person, you start thinking like an active person. And what does an active person do? They go to the gym every day or however many days that you feel comfortable doing. But not only that, but it also works the other way. If you basically are set on being a procrastinator or a lazy person, if you in your head think that you are a lazy person or a procrastinator, you continue doing actions that confirm that identity. So the more you confirm your identity, the more actions you will do towards that. So if you actively kind of stop and think about what you want your identity to look like, it's gonna help you a lot. Then my second tip would be that even though you might just have a small room or a small apartment, there's like kind of a little rule of one space, one use. So basically I just have this room, for example, and then you decide you just sleep on your bed. You don't go on your bed and do work on there or be on your phone. It's just for sleeping, so that you know that as soon as you go into the bed in the evening, your body knows that it's for sleeping and you go to sleep there. Or basically you're on your desk and the only thing that you do on your desk is work, so that you get immediately into the zone basically just by entering the space. Then another tip would be that you write your habits down in a specific way. You put the time and location that you want to actually do the habit. So for example, you put, I read one page of a book at 10 p.m. on my bed, and that would be an example for such a habit, that you know exactly when you do it, where you do it, how much of it you do, so it's like easier. And really write it down so that you have a visual representation of what your habits actually are, and it's going to be a lot easier to stick to them. Then another thing you can do after you write down all of your habits, you can look at them and kind of see which ones go together, so you can habit stack them. It kind of provokes a chain reaction and you have to be very specific with them. So an example of that would be, after I do my skincare routine and come back into my room, I read one page of my book. So my next tip would be that you make two columns. One is about the things that you do every day, and one is about the things that happen to you every single day. Now a few examples for things that might happen to you every single day are that the sun rises, the sun sets, you get a text message, the song that you listen to ends. Yeah, so that's just a few things that you might want to use as like cues for a habit that you want to start. So maybe one could be that as soon as your song ends, you want to do like 10 crunches, and then every time your song ends, you do 10 crunches. That's just like a little example on how you could like stack your habits with the habits that you already have. Then another very important thing is to reduce friction in your habits. So basically, if you want to work out in the morning, you can lay out your workout clothes, your bag and your water bottle the night before so that everything is ready and you just don't have to think about it. It just kind of comes almost automatically, and yeah, there's less friction, so less reasons why you wouldn't do it. Then the next thing I want to introduce is the 2-minute rule. So basically, a new habit should always take 2 minutes or less. So maybe if you have a habit that you want to implement that is writing in your journal, you don't want to just have write in your journal because that might take more than 2 minutes sometimes. So maybe you just want to, in your head, have the action of opening your journal as your habit, or if you want to read a few pages of a book every night, you might just want to read one page as the formal habit that your brain does not get overwhelmed by it, and you can still continue on doing more than that, but at least you have like the base set and then you can build on it. And a quote that I actually thought was very interesting is, a habit must be formed and established before it can be improved. So if the base isn't there, you can't improve it. You have to do it regularly first and have some kind of habit established before you can actually improve it, because the most important thing is that you do it regularly, and if that isn't even there yet, you are going to have a much harder time to actually implement the habit. The next thing would be a commitment device, which would be locking in future habits and future events when your mind is in the right place. So basically, you want to book and pay for a yoga class ahead of time so that it's a lot harder to cancel instead of just to go there. Then a very good thing to have for your habits is to create a short-term reward if the habit doesn't provide one, because humans chase short-term rewards. That's just something that is engraved into us basically. Usually a long time ago, short-term rewards were the only possible rewards really, or the only ones that were actually beneficial. So that's kind of still engraved in our mind like that. So maybe you can just implement some kind of reward for your habit, like for example just have a bubble bath or pamper routine or something like that for right after you do your habit. And another thing would be to have an accountability partner, so you could both basically partner up and have something that you both maybe want to do, and the other person looks out for that, and maybe if you don't do it, you give them like $30 or something every time that you mess it up. So at some point you might not be messing that habit up anymore. Then the last thing I would suggest doing is actually to implement a habit tracker for yourself, and just kind of don't break the chain. But I would say that sometimes it's kind of problematic because some people get like really obsessed with it, and I would just say to not beat yourself up over breaking the chain, because it's life. I mean, things don't always work out the way you want them to, and you can't always do your habits. So I would say implement a habit tracker, but with caution. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video and it helped you in some way. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I really hope that I see you in my next video. Bye!